everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Top 20 Thursday. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I've got my awesome special guest here. He's my co-host for Mainstream Mondays on Horror Film Lovers, and this is the first time on Blu Ray Hunter. Well, not first, but I think this is the first time on Blu Ray Hunter. Or is it?
Well, the hall
Oh, he's at
I'm
Halls.
on,
Yes. You
but
also,
I haven't been on this with like
right.
your favorite 20. This is my first time on here.
Yes. So welcome, John Ward. How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on. I appreciate it.
So we have our today is going to be our top 20 favorite films that we own on Blu-ray. And I'm also through 4K. I know you don't have 4Ks, but I'm, through my
It's
own in
digital.
there.
It's yeah, that's fine.
So, because I think they count because there are Blu-rays in some of the 4Ks. Some there are not. All right. So, we're gonna do 10, 10, then John will do 10, then I'll do 10, then John will do 10, and I'll do 10 starting from 20. So what is your number 20, sir?
Well, I got to. We can count backwards, but these aren't in any particular order in
Oh,
that way.
okay. I didn't know that. I,
So
I literally put everything in order, like my
no,
favorites
they
or
these
whatever.
well the order the way that I did these is there's stacked in a particular way. So some are my favorite films, some are about film preservation, some are about series, some are so I wouldn't say that, yeah, it's really like 20 or one countdown.
Right.
Because I don't think I could do that with these because they're not, it's like I don't think I would really watch one over the other.
Right.
So um, but I will start off with, I thought this was a good one. Like I said, there is some sort of order to this. So I'm going to start off with the what Steven Spielberg said. This movie, this actor, this studio saved Hollywood. That is why this movie is in here, and that would be Top Gun Maverick. So this is, if Steven Spielberg says it, it's got to be true, man. It's this movie, this
I
guy,
would have thought that
Paramount.
would be like lower on your list because that's like one of your favorite movies, but you know,
It's
uh,
well, it's not. Like I said, these aren't necessarily best to worst or best to
right.
whatever. It's I thought this would be a good one to start with because the guy saved Hollywood.
Hmm.
He did. I mean,
I can't
Maverick
wait
really
to
did.
see your reaction to the one I'm sorry. It's the
Okay.
complete opposite direction. But all right.
Yeah, so I think that everybody should see this. Some people could say maybe Spider-Man did because it made, No Way Home because it made more money. But that's a series. It's Marvel. Of course, Spider-Man's going to make money. This
That was
was
not expected, I don't think, to make as much money. I
this was
think
the yeah. Why is this being made? Nobody asked for a sequel. It's going to bomb, and that's why I think it's an important film. So
exactly.
to watch.
There you
Um,
go.
The next one is I don't know if you've seen this or not. If you haven't, you definitely should. It's William Friedkin right after Exorcist, and it's Roy Scheider right after The French Connection. It's got a brilliant soundtrack by Tangerine Dream, and it's Sorcerer.
Oh, I've heard of it, I think.
It's
And
a
I've heard of
remake.
Tangerine Dream,
Yeah, Tangerine Dream did a ton of stuff.
like
They've done
Legend and a few other.
Legend and Blade Runner and a bunch of stuff. They were the big thing for a while. This is a remake of Wages of Fear, which is available from Criterion.
Yeah, I've heard of
And
Wages of Fear.
this bombed, and now it's a cult classic, pretty
Of
much. And
course.
it is great. It is a great movie, just
I'll have to
visually and everything.
I'll have to check it out sometime, you know.
Yeah, it's they got to move dynamite, like ruined dynamite that could blow up at any second from like location A to location B, which is like miles and miles and miles away. And anything, if they just hit a pothole, a truck could blow up.
Right.
And it's great. Yeah, it's really good. Um, the next one would be in my top 5 for one of my all-time favorite movies, and that would be Saturday Night Fever.
Nice.
I absolutely love this movie. I saw it like 10 times when I was a kid. My mother would just drop me off at the theater and be like, go watch your movie. Go watch your movie. Call me when you're done. And then she'd have the whole day to herself.
Oh,
So yeah.
she
So
enjoyed
that was
that. She enjoyed your
yeah.
movie time.
Yeah. So, and this is the it's the director's cut, so it's um the extended version. I don't yeah, it's unrated, but it has both the R-rated and the unrated version on this.
John Badham did that movie, right?
Yes.
Because he actually has a book that he's done where he talks about a lot of directing stuff, and he talks about directing John Travolta in that movie, and it was called "I'll Wait in My Trailer." And if you wanna hear what like a director, an experienced director has to think about dealing with actors and talent that, are amazing but need to be dealt with in certain ways, and stuff. It's
Well,
a really good
he
book.
yeah, there's a documentary on this which Travolta will do everything if it's Grease related, but he won't talk about this movie, and I don't know why, because this is the film that pretty much made him, like film wise, a household name. But at this
Right.
point, he was on Welcome Back, Carter, and so he was on like every girl's like bedroom like wall with like a poster of him. And they say in this that there'd be just like blocks and blocks and blocks of like young girls like watching him film. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't think that Badham is wrong about, I'll wait on my trailer. So, but I think it's a great movie, especially this director's cut is really, really good. So I love it. And I love the cover, how it's all kind of disco-y. So
Nice.
this is also another one of my favorite films. It'd be in my top five. And that is Ed Wood.
Yes. I almost put that on my thing, but it's sort of one of my favorite films of like it is my favorite film of all time. And so I have a few that are my favorites that I put in the thing, but like I'll get to it. But I love that movie. My favorite film of all time.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, where like none of that movie's true, but it's how we would like to think of Bruce Lee. Like Bruce Lee did not fight two samurai warriors to be able to teach his kung fu technique in LA,
Right.
and during that fight he broke his back.
But there are
That's
some certain stuff that is sort of true, and then there's some stuff that's not true in that movie.
well, there's stuff like yeah, like he used to have nightmares of Brandon Lee dying and all
No, no,
that.
I'm talking about
But
for Ed Wood, but
oh no, that's true. Yeah, but it's kind of like Bruce Lee fighting the samurai and he got his back broken. No, the real story is he fell off of a scooter and broke his back. But
right,
what's better? The legend is better. This is
right.
the same thing.
Like
Like most, like 90% of this movie never happened.
when what's her
And
name, Sarah Jessica Parker, Dolores Fuller, breaks up with him, it's not because he's wearing the dress and doing like that big scene, but that's a great scene, and
yeah,
stuff. And yeah, I absolutely agree that there are some things, but then there are, I mean, you can't do a movie that's actually 100% real, I don't think, because it would be boring,
well,
like
that's why this is more the legend. So this is how we would like to think of Ed Wood instead of him being across, dressing drunk, who
right.
died on somebody's sofa, from
Actually, it
alcoholism.
wasn't in his sofa, he was in a bedroom and he was
I
staring.
heard that he fell
No,
asleep
I
on a
read
sofa.
his I read the book Nightmare and Ecstasy, and he was literally, and he went to go lie down because he wasn't feeling good, and he went to lie down, and then somebody went to check up on him, and they found him dead with his eyes staring and like his face like, terrified
Hmm.
and stuff. And there was actually John Keyes, the director, was going to do a movie. I believe it was John Keyes was going to do a movie about the last days of Ed Wood, and it was going to be his last days of like what was he seeing right before he died, and I think that's an interesting idea, but
Yeah,
never got
I
made.
would like to see that. I had an idea where I would want to do like the last year of his life and get into the whole porn thing and him producing and being all overweight and sweaty
They
and
mention
get
it at
get
the
Johnny
end.
Depp back, play him.
Yeah,
I
it would
think
be. It'd be
I mean
actually
that would
that would
be
be kind of perfect now because Johnny Depp is sort of he's gotten older,
Yeah,
and whatnot, he would probably have a fun time with that.
yeah,
But like Ed Wood too, basically. But Tim Burton
yeah.
could come
You
back to direct, you know,
or at least produce,
or
type of thing.
produce. Yeah.
But this is, yeah. I mean, I saw this at a preview like a year before it came out. We were a test audience,
Mm-hmm.
and if you read the script, there are stuff that's missing that I saw. So there's like the just the Criswell stuff at the beginning when he says, the regular Criswell stuff of, did this happen? And at the end, he does the same thing like he did in Plan 9, but they cut it out of the movie to
Right.
where he just lowers himself into the coffin. But there's stuff in this, like I said, it's how you want to remember Ed Wood. It is because he never met Orson Welles. That never happened.
Right.
He did many things in between these movies that they
Yeah.
didn't
That
even
never they never
mention.
talk about jailbait. They never talk about,
Yeah, none of
you
this stuff
know,
is brought up.
yeah.
Lugosi had a wife and dogs living with,
Right.
at the time, and they say that he's alone. So there's a lot of stuff in this that's not true, but it's a great movie. So
Um, it's produced by Touchstone, right?
yeah,
Pictures, and that is Disney. And so does
yes,
that make him a Disney princess?
yes, because he's in drag.
He's in drag. He's a Disney. Ed Wood is a
Yeah,
Disney princess.
he is.
There you
Yeah, it
go.
doesn't show a picture of him back there as drag, but she is handing him the
The
Angora
Angora
sweater.
sweater. Huh.
Yeah.
Ed
So
Wood was the movie that inspired me. I always say kind of Ed Wood and Clerks are the two movies that sort of inspired me to become a filmmaker. Because at the time that Ed Wood came to video cassette was 96, 97 or so when I probably watched it was 98 when I watched it. And I'd already seen Clerks about 97. And so I'd already started to go, I could direct my own movie? Like, that's incredible. Like, I didn't know because when I was a kid, I always thought you had to like be in Hollywood and you had
no,
to like work your way up and you couldn't just go out and make your own movie with your friends or whatever. And so when I discovered that, that's when I started going, what is this world? What's this indie world? Never heard of this, and those two movies really inspired me to become a filmmaker. So thank you, Tim Burton and Kevin Smith for
there you
inspiration.
go. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple other things with it. Is like famously they say that the flying saucers that go over Los Angeles are just paper plates. They're not. It was an actual model kit.
Yeah, it was a model kit.
You can buy the model kit that it was based off of. So there's a lot of legends and all that type of stuff and urban myths with Ed Wood that that aren't true, but it's
Right.
still. And then the next one, this one is actually from Scream Factory, and it would be John Carpenter's The Thing.
Nice. I love that. I have that Blu Ray, yeah. I need to get a 4K of it at some point.
It's got the slip jacket, which I
My
really
next
like.
John
So
Carpenter 4K is gonna be The Fog, because I
I
gotta get
think
that.
I think is it on here? Fuck, I set it up here and I didn't grab it. But there's a second. Cliff gave this to me, and it
Mm.
has a second jacket that goes over it.
Oh, nice.
And I think it's up there, but I can't reach it. I forgot to bring
Wait,
it
is there
down. But
two? Wait, you're saying there's two
yeah,
covers to it?
there's. Oh, here it is. It's right here.
Oh, neat. So there's two covers. Cool.
Yeah, so I think if you pre-ordered it, you got
Oh, you
this one
slip.
and
So it's
this
a
one.
slip cover. Okay.
Yeah, I don't use it, so because I just use this one.
Okay. Cool. So you have two slip
But yeah,
covers. Nice.
yeah. So that was kind of cool. And then the next one is this is also from Scream Factory, and it is a huge film that Edgar Wright loves.
Okay.
So he would go out on tour, he'd go worldwide, and he would show two movies. He'd show this movie, Phantom of the Paradise, which is
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest movies ever made. It's still my favorite Brian De Palma movie. I own like three versions of the soundtrack. I have like the UK version of it because it has like a bunch of they might be on here now, but it had like a whole bunch of interviews and behind the scenes that weren't on like the US release, which is bare bones. And so Edgar Wright would take this and the monkey's head,
Oh,
and he would tour with both of these films because he's a huge fan of Head. If you notice in Scott Pilgrim, uh, the drum in the band simply says drum.
Right.
That's from Head. That's Mickey Dolenz drum set. Just says drum. And he took it from that.
Nice.
So yeah. So this is, I absolutely love this film beyond belief. I'm so surprised that they never made it into a musical with all the shit musicals that they make on Broadway. That this would be absolutely perfect, especially with Paul Williams still being alive, and the songs are great. I mean, he even went on to the Muppets to perform one of the songs, and
Nice.
which is all about the devil and everything. So it's pretty funny. But it's yeah, I love this movie. I've seen it like 10 times. It is,
Cool.
yeah. If you, and there's a huge history behind it. Like Led Zeppelin sued them because of the record company had the same name as Led Zeppelin's company, so they had to in the early day do like a really early version of like matting, and you could see like the new logo kind of moving a little bit on screen because it's not,
Interesting.
it's not perfect. Yeah, it's, if you have you seen this?
No.
Oh my god, you got to see this. I mean, it is great.
Is it streaming anywhere, I wonder? I mean, I will
uh
probably buy it at some point, but
this would look great on 4K because it's all De Palma doing. This is right before Carrie, and Sissy Spacek was like a property person on this before she was known.
hmm,
She's in the credits, and he did this right before Carrie. So he does all that split screen from Carrie is in this. He does the constant like Hitchcock split screen.
he was a Hitchcock
Oh,
fanatic,
fanatic. Yeah.
and
Yeah. I
and
think he,
Hitchcock was not a fan of Brian De Palma, because he thought he stole stuff from him, you know.
which is unfortunate. So,
Yeah, which is sad because, there's so many filmmakers out there that did take a lot from Hitchcock, and he
mm,
probably was I don't know, but
yeah. Well, and this also has Garrett Graham right before he destroyed his career by when he became big. I forget which film it was that he got big in. But once he hit that status, he took revenge on all the people who told him you'll never make it in this job, and then that flipped on him, and he got blacklisted.
no, that
Hence why he
sucks.
was in Shud 2. So, you know, that's what you do when do that.
You gotta be careful, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
This
just
next one is, oh god.
I was just gonna say, just be proud of who you are, but don't brag.
Yeah. This next one is I think Jim Wynorski said that it was his first writing gig. And I think this is the greatest Alien ripoff ever made. And I even told Jim that I think Alien Covenant ripped this movie off. That I think somebody watched it and said, let's just make Forbidden World
Nice.
into an Alien movie.
Once again, another one I don't see. That's not Lost Empire, right? That's a different movie.
No, this is Forbidden World. It was originally called
Okay.
Mutant.
Oh, okay.
And then that movie Mutant with Wings Hauser came out, and they asked him if they could change it, and he wouldn't change it. So
Of course not.
yeah,
This has
so
got
he
Wings
had,
Hauser.
that's right. So they had to call this Forbidden World, which I think is a better title. Anyways, and this is the steel case that comes from Scream Factory.
Nice.
So it's got its.
I'll have to get that at some point too. And I've been diving into my buying more Scream Factors. So.
I love this, and this has the original version of the film called Mutant. It's taken from the VHS tape. The director had it, and then he gave it to Scream Factory, and they made it. They put it onto here as like like on the second disc,
Awesome.
because it was a very serious movie. And Corman said there's two that there's no. I'm sorry. It was more comedy, and Corman said no, the film's not going to be comedy. Cut it all out. But Mutant has all the comedy in it, but Forbidden World doesn't. Kind of like Death Race 2000 was more comedy, but they can't find the original version of that.
Oh, damn, that
So
sucks.
yeah, great soundtrack, one of the greatest soundtracks I've ever heard. I listen to it all the time. So great film, one of my all-time favorite movies. This one is more about preservation. Is if this film can be preserved, there's no reason why we can't preserve everything and give thing is a really good release. And I had to pick this up immediately when it came out because I had the VHS and then I had the DVD, and then they came out with Pieces.
Nice.
And this is a Sage Stallone and Tarantino's company.
Nice.
So yeah, and this is it's
Before Sage passed away, sadly.
sadly, yeah, which is really unfortunate. And this is a 3-disc deluxe edition, 2 Blu-rays plus the CD. So this is look at all those special features on this thing for Pieces.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is the guy who directed Slugs.
I have Pieces, but I have the horror pack, edition, which doesn't have all of that stuff, just has the movie. So I would love to get that at some point.
Yeah, because here's like the soundtrack for it.
Nice.
And then, yeah, I mean, this thing is really, they did a great job on this. I mean, so I had to grab it. And it's sleaze. It's Italian sleaze, but I love it because it's, out of all the movies to do this giant set on, they did it on Pieces.
There you go.
That's why it's in my stack, because it's all about preserving these things. And if you can give them good quality and good discs and a good release, they don't look shit. People, oh God, Pieces. No, you watch it on this and you're like, oh, Pieces. So
it's not a piece.
It is
crap.
Not. And then the last two, of course, Criterion, my all-time favorite movie, The Graduate.
The Graduate, yeah.
Greatest film ever made.
I'm sort of not surprised that that's on your list,
Yeah,
considering you talk about it all the time.
It's got a ton of stuff, but I am disappointed that it doesn't have one thing, and I cannot find this. There is like a 20-minute interview with Buck Henry, who wrote the film, or he wrote the screenplay, adapted it from the book. Buck Henry used to write for like Saturday Night Live. He's done a ton of movies. He's very well known. And he did like a 20-minute interview that was on one of the DVDs, and I can't figure out which one it is. And it's not on here either because it doesn't say like interview with. So I would love to find that interview with him because he talks a lot about the movie. So, and I think this is the greatest film ever made. I mean, it's come on.
It's not on YouTube?
I don't think so. I've looked Buck Henry interview. But music by Simon and Garfunkel, directed by Mike Nichols. And the great thing about this is it's the opposite of the book. In the book, Benjamin is Robert Redford. He's tall, like over 6 feet. He's white hair, blue eyed. He's a wasp. And that is not Dustin Hoffman. So it's a really interesting, of how they changed that around. So, and then the last one on here is actually my second all-time favorite movie. It's my all-time favorite zombie film. It's my second all-time favorite movie. And it's the original Night of the Living Dead, also from Criterion.
Nice. Yeah, so yeah, they just released that on 4K.
So I with this, I've done a couple of videos where I've talked about this. 4K is too good. I think that's a problem. I would probably buy it if I, just to have it. But even this is too clear. Night of the Living Dead, especially this version, is meant to look like a documentary.
Right. So it's meant to have a sort of those grains and that.
The grains, the editing is a little messed up. You kind of get the popping. It's not perfect. So when I watch this, it's very clear that when they cut the zombie's hand off in the door, it's a rubber hand.
Right.
But if you watch it in the other versions, because I have like 3 other versions, I'm still in search for the worst version possible. Because I think that's how you have to see it. You don't want to see it the best. You want to see it the worst.
I'm sure there's some low budget company that put,
Oh yeah.
Because it is public domain, so it's been like so many companies that have done it,
Well, I don't want to get it in a collection. I want it by itself. So I have like 2 or 3 other versions of this that I was hoping would be the worst. And they weren't. So one was remastered, and my crap, I bought one that said remastered. I didn't want that. So, but I think this is the greatest zombie movie ever made. It's a great allegory. for like the Cold War in Russia. It's a based, they based it off of I Am Legend. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it is absolutely perfect.
We haven't done it for indie or for Criterion Watch yet. I thought we did, but then I re-looked at all the ones we did, and I was like, I think I was in a hall, and Criterion Hall, that I did video, and I was like, I bought this, and Paul was like, really? You bought that? I, you don't like zombies. I'm like, I don't like zombies, but like, this is the definitive film that started the zombie like thing,
Yeah,
really.
because
Like, this
everything
is
before this was voodoo.
yeah, voodoo. And then this was like the way, so like it is the movie that sort of inspired every other zombie movie that ever got made. And so for that, like I felt like I should have it, I should watch it, and I did. And I really, really, really liked it. It is up there as one of my favorite. And you just heard me saying I'll be doing a video for horror film lovers that'll be about Italian zombie movies. I'm going to go into an Italian zombie movie thing where I'm going to watch a bunch, and
Oh,
review
I mean,
them.
if you need a co-host, let me know, because or a guest, because
But
I know
yeah,
all of them. Because the Italians, there's actually I'll send you the link to it. There's a great, it's 1 hour, and it's called From Romero to Rome, and it's all about like from zombie, which is still voodoo. The first few were all about voodoo,
right.
to the like whatever the one that kind of killed the zombie, like the Italian zombie films. But it starts off with ones that were made right after this. And then once Dawn of the Dead came out, that's when it all hit.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, Dawn of the Dead is all about consumerism and stuff like that. Well, this is more about communism and conforming and all that type of stuff. So it's yeah, I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So
Well, you know what? I'll have you as the guest for that. So it'll be like a monthly thing, but talking about I'm going to start with City of the Living Dead, which I just watched and fucking loved. And
love City of the Walking Dead.
I was watching it and I was messaging John at the same time, going like I was in awe of the movie. I was like, oh my God, this and Blue Underground did a fantastic job with the transfer. It looked beautiful and but looked grainy and looked and the atmosphere and everything. It looked like I was watching a movie from the 70s, but it was 80s, 1980, but it was kind of leftover 70s. It felt like that. So anyway,
Yes,
it was
yeah.
really good. I really enjoyed it and
Yeah,
had a
you need to
blast.
check out Fulci's, Zombie,
All of
The
them are on Shudder,
Beyond.
so
Um,
that was the plan. I was gonna watch a bunch of them on Shudder, like Zombie and and then there's uh the Beyond and what was
The
the other
Beyond
one?
is
The,
another one that's great. That's very Lovecraftian.
well, those are all three of the Gates of Hell movies or something.
Yeah, there's his trilogy that's
Yeah.
um it's actually Zombie's not part of that. It's The
Yeah,
Beyond,
Zombie was the first
City of the
one.
Living Dead,
Apparently
and
Zombie 2 made like something over $1 billion, something like
yeah,
ridiculous for
depending
that time.
like I have it on 2 DVDs. I think it's like Shriek, whatever they are, Shriek Factory, whatever they were called, and then Blue Underground is. I have one as Zombie, and then one is Zombie with an I too.
Yeah.
But that's not part of the Gates of Hell.
Right.
So it's yeah, it's City of the Living Dead, The Beyond, and House by the Cemetery are the
House by
three.
the Cemetery, which I do want to buy on 4K because Blue Underground has House in the Cemetery on 4K, has Zombie on 4K. I think Zombie 2 might be on 4K as well. But a lot of those movies, so I'm like, I'm gonna eventually get them. It's gonna be a little bit of time, so we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So all right,
All
my
right, man.
first from okay, so I did everything differently than John. John didn't have like a number of nine from 20 to whatever.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
doing
really.
20 to 11, I guess, and then 10 to 1. That's because they're 10 and 10. Um, so yeah, so to start with, I told you my first one to start with is going to be a little bit different than yours. But it is the Anal Paprika trilogy.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So you'd be like, why would this be on your like top whatever to own? So Chris Seaver made a collection of it started with one short called Anal Paprika that he sold at conventions and stuff. If you look, they actually have some it's got all three of the movies plus a bunch of bonus features and stuff.
Okay.
Including audio commentaries and interviews and blooper reels, stuff like that. But anyway, so the basically Anal Paprika was this movie that he did to sell at conventions. If you look at one of the back, it has or no, it doesn't on this one. But if you want, if you got the DVD of it, it had John Stamos's picture, and it's like if you watch a lot of his older movies, and they have a picture of John Stamos they put in the background. I think that started with the Anal Paprika. It's just a joke thing that they did, and they just continued to do it with his movies because it's not like he's a fan of John Stamos. He just thinks it's funny. And
Okay.
so you did three movies. The first one was a short. The next ones were a little longer. His movies are never really, you were talking earlier on the last podcast that we did that you like the movie 70 to 80 minutes. His is like 60 to 70 minutes, or whatever, because, he doesn't sometimes shorter, sometimes they're basically shorts. But yeah, those movies are the movies that really got me into Chris Seaver, and the fact that they're now on Blu-ray and everything just makes me happy, and everything. So, because I have the movies on DVD, but it's nice to have them on on the Blu-ray. Not 4K yet. That'd be interesting when he starts if he ever starts going up to 4K for his films. I'll still buy them.
Oh, geez.
Um, Next, to kind of go with that in a way is the Disaster Artist. You showed my favorite
I
film, Ed Wood. This is up there as also one of my favorite films now. I
That'd be a
adore,
good double feature. Ed Wood and the
well,
Disaster
like,
Artist.
and what's funny is like Tommy even said like, "Oh, Johnny Depp could play me," right? And it's funny because he's already basically played him in Ed Wood. He's a bad movie director. Um, which director do I like better? Sorry to say, Tommy, but I prefer Ed Wood's movies. I think they actually tried to be good movies. Maybe his movie tried, but it was oh God, it failed. Um, I'm anxious to see Big Shark, but no, I absolutely adore this movie. I think it's really funny. Just like Ed Wood, there are scenes that weren't necessarily how it really happened. I'm thinking the scene where he bothers the Judd Apatow's character or whatever that was never in the book. There is a book called The Disaster Artist that started this whole thing, and I love the book a lot. And it's one of those few books I've actually, because I don't really read a lot of books. I'm just not a big book reader. Sounds terrible to be a writer, but and not be a book reader, but it just I don't know. I have ADHD. It's really hard for me to focus. But if I'm really into something like movies, I read about it, and everything. So it's
Well,
been,
what do you think about Franco shutting down Tommy Wiseau? When they were at the awards show, like Tommy wanted to go up and say something into the mic, and he got pulled away from it. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's when it wasn't Tommy's movie, you know, like Tommy may have inspired it, you know. Um, like if Ed Wood had been alive, Tim Burton probably would have brought, him up there. I don't know. I think maybe there's a little bit of grandiosity with like, hey, this is my project, not yours, kind of thing. But I don't know. I don't know the whole subtext to that, and
I mean,
everything.
I
So
I wonder. I mean, because some people, if you bring up the person that the film is based on, they're like, I want to thank you guys for making a film about me. I want to, I really enjoy, that type of thing. But who knows? With Tommy, maybe he would have gone on for 3 hours or said something weird or whatever it was. Because Franco pulls him away really fast. He's like, no, 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 and they leave the stage. So
no idea. I have no idea, but
because Seth Rogen was up there too. So
I don't know. So next
okay.
is a movie that I So how do I explain it? So I know the filmmaker pretty well. And he is I've interviewed him a few times with him and his wife, and I'm a huge, uh, I had to get it, and I was actually sort of Jackie actually auditioned for this movie in my house. But unfortunately there was too much nudity and stuff, and Jackie just doesn't do nudity. And there was like a mix up, like I guess the director had told me before. But Chauncey Phillips is in this movie, and it's this little movie called Girls Gone Dead, done by Michael Hoffman. Um, it says he co-directed it with Aaron T. Wells.
I own
Um,
that. I've seen that. I've talked to the director. Yeah.
yeah, and Michael Hoffman did movies like Reunion of Terror, Sigma Die, I want to say is the movie called. He's done a few flicks, Spring Break Massacre, a couple stuff you can see on Tubi. But this movie was a pretty big thing, and it had like that dude Beetlejuice, I believe, was in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
movie, and
Yeah, I think like Ron Jeremy is in it and
yeah, Al Sapi Beneza, yeah. So it's just goofy. Say Linnea Quigley's in it. It's a Florida movie, movie shot in Florida. So, this next movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. I could watch this movie over and over again. But I still haven't put it on my like top 10 list of like my favorite movies, period. But it is a movie I can watch over and over again. So I had to put it on this list of movies I'm glad I own, and I just bought it recently. So, but I'm glad I own Get 'Em to the Greek.
that's a fine one.
So, if you guys have not seen Get 'Em to the Greek, it is that's by far the silliest, goofiest, most fun. Russell Brand just does and Jonah Hill both do such a great job. And if you need to see only one scene in that movie, go YouTube the Jeffrey scene, because that scene in that movie, where he's like freaking out on drugs, is just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So, um,
Well, it's a quasi sequel to Forgetting
yes,
Sarah Marshall,
yeah.
which
There,
which,
there's
which has one of my favorite scenes in it is when Russell Brand is explaining dating Sarah Marshall,
yeah.
and he's comparing her to Hitler. He's like, but it's not exactly Hitler, but it's kind of like dating Hitler. And I don't understand how you dated her because she's like Hitler. And it's just the way he does it is hilarious that he just keeps comparing her to Hitler.
That's funny. And I remember when he saw like the video of her, he goes, "Oh, I used to date that chick," like in that video. So anyway, next up is a movie I just got recently, and I'm counting it in one of the things I'm very glad to own, and it goes with Disaster Artist. So I should have made it next after Disaster Artist, but is Best Friends, Fiends, whatever you want to call it, because the Friends has a little thing over it. But it's also autograph. If you can see it, uh, it's autographed by Greg Sestero, who says, "Hi, Jonathan." Oh hi, Jonathan. Um, and so that's awesome. But yeah, it's.
Don't know that one.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm just glad I own it. You know, because like I know I shouldn't have put it on here if I didn't watch it yet, but like I'm just happy that I got to meet him
Fair
personally
enough.
and own this movie. But I really want to see it. It's still in the actually no, it's not. I thought it was. I will watch this soon. We'll review it for something. I don't think it'll be Indie Film Cafe. It's too long. It's like two discs, it's like 3 hours long. But it's not directed by Tommy Wiseau. It's actually directed by somebody else, but written by Greg Sestero. Um, and just stars Tommy and Greg back again. And then next is a movie that I have seen a bunch of times, and I'm very glad I own. And it's something I am going to do on Indie Film Cafe at some point. It's just haven't done it yet. Haven't pulled the trigger. I think it is on Tubi, so it may be something we do with somebody else around there. But it is Bloodletting.
Ah,
Um, and it is
yes.
signed by James L. Edwards and J.R. Bookwalter.
Nice.
So But
Yeah,
I
that's
got
a
this.
Makeflix.
Yeah, Makeflix. So I bought it from Makeflix. I love this. This is one of my favorite things where you turn it over and it's a different cover than the
Oh, nice.
cover
Yeah, that's
disc.
the original cover. That's the cover
Yeah.
I have for the DVD.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there reversible cover art? I wonder. Oh, looks like there is. Yeah, there's an even different.
Oh, maybe that's like VHS or something. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
recognize that one.
I don't recognize it either, but I'm glad that that's so cool. I love when companies do that. So there you go. Yeah, I love bloodletting. I think bloodletting is by far one of my favorite. I actually created a character named Matthew, or two characters named Matthew and Jason Walsh, and named after uh the director, Matthew Jason Walsh, who's also the writer. Um, Next is a movie that I'm sure you've seen, maybe, but Synapse put this out. It is well, stars Sam Raimi as a bad guy, you know, but it's Thou Shall Not Kill X dot 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 except,
I have seen
which
that
yeah, it's fantastic.
long time
But
ago.
uh I fell in love with Sam Raimi's films, and then I discovered, like, I started reading all the books and stuff that they have about him. If Chins Could Kill by Bruce Campbell, and then there was like a Evil Dead journal thing or something where it just they talk about all the different stuff with the Evil Dead world. Then I discovered Josh Becker, and he has many books on the making of these movies and stuff, and he made this movie. And is there a cover art for this too? Ah, yes, there is. So you could do that, which is the one I have, or whatever, or this, which is pretty cool too.
That's how I know it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I like that. It also has the original short film that inspired this movie. It's called Stryker's War. Originally, it was called Stryker's War, but the guy that helped name Evil Dead told Josh that it sounds like a bunch of people on strike during a war, Stryker's War. So don't name it that. And so he said, well, what would you name it? Because there was a list of different names. And he goes, Thou shalt not kill dot dot except. And he goes, that sounds like a tagline. And he looked over and goes, he was like, I will not accept that. And he goes, do you want me to represent your movie? He goes, yes, then it's called Thou Shalt Not Kill Except. So after that, that's what it was
There
called.
you go.
Next is so I had to put a Marvel movie in my list because I'm a huge
Uh-oh.
Marvel fan, and I love collecting all the Marvel movies. I collect some of the DC movies. I'm not as big on the DC as I am with the Marvel. And so I had to put one of them. And what would I put on? But my favorite Marvel movie of all time, which is Captain America: Civil War.
That is
It's
one of the
so
good ones.
funny because I hated Captain America 1, and we've talked about that. But I think it's the World War II thing. Like I'm just not into
Yeah.
movies about that. I
Yeah.
wasn't a big
First
fan of
Avenger.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman and stuff because that's what right? But which is weird to think about. Like Wonder Woman
I've
and
I,
Captain America.
I've brought it up to you that you're weird
Yeah.
about
No, I
stuff
mean,
like that.
well, no, but I'm just saying, like, it's weird that, like, Wonder Woman and Captain America are both set in the World War II thing, and they're both sort of representative of America, I guess. One woman being a woman, one being a man. Crazy. But Captain America Civil War, just love it. That just movie was the one that just sort of made me like fall absolutely in love with Marvel. And I think it's just because I just love seeing all the guys fight each other when they did, and I just it's just a blast to me. The next one is weirdly enough, the only John Carpenter movie I have up here. I feel like I should have put more, but 'cause I have a few. But it is Prince of Darkness on 4K.
Prince of Darkness. Yeah.
So I had never seen Prince of Darkness for a while, and then Paul kind of convinced me to watch it at some point. So I watched it. I don't know if I bought it before and then watched it or watched it, but I think I watched it on my own because I did not have the 4K. I have not seen it on 4K yet, but I'm going to eventually.
Yeah.
It's
The
on my
colors
list.
probably look great on that.
I know, and I'm excited. But yes, Prince of Darkness. It's the Screen Factory version, so there's audio commentary and a bunch of interviews and more, stuff. So, and last on this part of the group is a Alfred Hitchcock movie. There's two of them, because I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. Um, Weirdly enough, I don't know if there was a Kevin Smith one. I mean, I love all the Kevin Smith. No, oh, there is. Never mind. Okay. So anyway, there is Rebecca.
Ah,
This movie from Criterion is, if you haven't, have you seen it?
long, long, long time ago.
Oh my God, it's beautifully shot. Just stuff like I am really big on scenery a lot of times I realize. Like I want to do a movie where there's a lot of really like good looking waves crashing and like a lighthouse or something. Like I like that kind of stuff. I know Paul works right next to a lighthouse, so maybe one day that could
Ooh,
actually
love
happen.
lighthouses.
I love them too. The
Yeah.
Fog has one. I should have put that in my list, but I'm gonna buy that on 4K, and so that would be my one of my favorites. That would
Hey, next
probably
year we could always do part two.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so Rebecca has just got some beautiful scenery, and I mean the acting, Laurence Olivier, and what was the girl's name? Uh, jeez, Laurence Olivier and Joan Fontaine. Oh, Joan Fontaine. It's just beautiful, beautiful. This movie's whole thing's beautiful, and it almost felt like a ghost story, but it wasn't. So, uh, your turn.
Oh, that's okay. So the next two are the like Blu-ray books that they came out with. I said Ed Wood, I think, was my second favorite film. It's actually my third. So I'd go Graduate and then Jaws, then
Jaws.
Ed Wood. So this is the first time that it came out on Blu-ray, and it's got like a ton of bonus features on it, and it's got the booklet that's attached to the book or attached to the box, I guess.
Nice.
So it's the only thing that I don't really like about this is Spielberg did put in shooting stars, and I didn't understand why. Maybe he thought the shot of like the orca out in the ocean was boring by itself, so he put in like every once in a while you could
Oh
see a
yeah,
shooting
that's right.
star.
I remember seeing that going, wait, I don't
Yeah,
remember that being in the
and
movie.
yeah, he added that for some reason. I don't know why, but otherwise
So you said he
it's
Lucased it, right? Basically going back in
yeah,
and
yeah.
he,
ET is even worse, but that's
well,
with the
that was a gun thing, right? Because he took all the guns and put in
guns out of walkie
radios or
talkies. Yeah,
walkie-talkies, yeah.
yeah, because of Columbine, basically.
But
Yeah,
yeah, and I get it, but I don't get it. Like it's ET, man. Come on.
I don't, but at least it was released this way, and it has two versions of
At
ET.
least there's guns
So
in Jaws, I think. Yeah, because if they got rid of the
he
guns,
does. Yeah, Brody takes out a gun and
shoot him at
starts
the end.
shooting
That
the
would be
shark.
weird.
So yeah, I mean, just the bonus features alone on this are great. So this would, yeah, second favorite movie. Love Jaws. And then the second one of these booklets, this kind of starts. The rest of these would be more preservation, even though I do love them. But
Hmm.
and so this one is Blade Runner, and
Blade
this,
Runner, the first one, right?
well, it's not just the first one.
Does it have the
See,
original?
and it also has a booklet in it too. But it has the final cut, the original theatrical cut, international
Where did
theatrical
where
cut,
did you find this?
director's cut, and then work print and special effects.
So where did you find this?
I think I worked at Best Buy for a while. I worked on their merchandising, and I think that's where I bought it, and it was like cheap, like it was on sale. But this is the type of thing, and my next few are going to be similar to this. This is what they should be doing with stuff. This is what they should be doing. You can get every version. There's like 5 movies in here, 5 different versions of this film.
So what was it called? Is it a digipack?
It's 30th anniversary collector's edition, is what it says.
Hold on, let me see. 30th edition, 30th
And look for
anniversary.
the like the unicorn on the front, like the paper unicorn.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Digibook. That's what it's called. Oh, okay, I can, you know what? I might get this for my dad for his birthday because he complains that uh the uh the one we have for uh Blu-ray, you know, does not have just has the final cut, doesn't have the original theatrical, and he does not like the final cut. He likes the theatrical, you know,
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
think that they're all worth getting. I mean, I know, yeah, the original might be my favorite just because it's the original, but and that's what I'm used to. But the
Right.
other cuts I think are really good too. And this is, like I said, this is, if they could preserve movies this way, if they could sit there and take something, maybe Terminator, and put in like two or three different versions of the film that Cameron has,
Mhm.
sitting somewhere. What a great way to preserve movies. I mean, it's all in one set.
Well,
You
he
get
did
the
that
booklet.
with the DVDs. Like they had the DVD of Terminator 2 had the scenes with the added
Well,
stuff, right?
there's three versions of Terminator 2.
Okay.
So there's the theatrical version without like Michael Biehn, and then there's the director's cut with Michael Biehn, and then there's an Easter egg, and you have to look up how to do it, but you hit on your remote like 385, and then I don't know, like a star, and it opens up the version that has all the deleted footage in it. So it has like the T-1000 going through John's room, touching everything, like right
Which
after he
which
kills
would
the
have drove
squad.
you nuts, right? Don't touch everything.
Stop touching everything. And so there's three different versions. And so that's, once again, that's the way to get it. So it's just, I just think that that's the way to do it. The next one is kind of the same thing in a way. And I didn't think this would ever come out on Blu-ray, is the Silent Night, Deadly Night collection.
Nice.
So Cliff with Scream Factory, they released 1 and 2, which are great discs with the figure and the poster. And I asked him, "Are you going to do part 3? It'd be great if you did a figure of Bill Moseley with like the brain exposed and the cap and all that." He goes, "No, no, because I guess maybe part 2 didn't sell as much." And so I'm like, "Well, great. So now I'm stuck with my DVD copy that
Right.
has nothing." And then all of a sudden, this popped up through the
Vestron.
Vestron Video Collector series, and it's got a beautiful cover. It's got a bunch of special, there's like audio commentaries, there's documentaries, and the best thing about this is that everything is on its own disc. So it's not like three movies just shoved onto one disc.
So how many movies are
There's three in this pack. So it's
okay.
part 3, 4, and 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for me, this was just like, oh my God. And this is one that I ordered in advance. And
See, this is
um,
what bothers me sometimes because I am collecting these movies and I have all my boutique Blu-ray labels, so Vestron and Scream Factory and Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome all are together, right? But like, say I bought was it Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2 from Scream Factory, right? And then I buy that one from with 3, 4, and 5 from Vestron that be in different, areas, they're not together, and
right. Yeah.
as a
And that,
person who's sort
yeah.
of anal about, organization and stuff, it just
Well, I
drives
have
me
I have a
crazy.
shelf, and so all my Silent Night, Deadly Night stuff is on the shelf. So it's like figure, that are still in the box, and then it's DVDs and Blu-rays of all the movies, and this sits up there. The
Yeah.
rest of the Vestron ones I have are in their own area, but this one I did put on its
Okay.
on my
So they're
my
they're
little
all right.
shelf.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fair.
I guess it just matters how you want to do it.
I know. I'm
Um,
I'm just anal about everything, I guess. I don't
yeah,
know.
no,
Mm.
I'm now starting to do stuff by company, and some things that you just got to separate,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
because like you and I are doing the same thing where especially since we do our haul videos where we show off our Blu-rays in our hauls, we've been buying a lot of Blu-rays. Now, you you've been buying a lot of them through sales or whatever, if you find sales or whatever. I've been just buying them if they're like $20. I don't care. If there's something I really want. Like I'll show you this real quick. It's not on my list, but I bought this because it's Masters of Cinema. Fortunately, it didn't play on my player, so
Yeah, I saw
I have
your
to get a
post. That
new
was
fucking player just to play Region B movies, which means I can't buy Masters of Cinema for a little bit until I get a player because what's the use, Like it's
right.
so but then I found out that that group I told you about, Indicator, the ones that put out, like The Tingler and a bunch of other movies like that, they are all region. So even though they're UK, so
Mm.
I'm like, why lock, the movies? And I think it's so that people don't steal, and put them into American bootlegs and stuff for them. But still,
Possible. Yeah. Hmm.
uh, anyway, continue.
So now next one, this is my favorite series. And it's not every movie. There's two missing from this collection, and then there's the TV show. But this is my all-time favorite series, and that's the Chucky movies.
Nice, yeah. I know you're a
So
big Chucky fan,
yeah, so this goes from the first movie up to Curse.
and that's Scream Factory, right?
The no Universal,
Oh, just Universal put it out.
Universal
Oh,
MGM.
cool.
Yeah, so this has everything, and this came out at the same time as Colt. So Colt sits next to it, and then seasons 1 and 2 of the show go next to it. I recently watched Living with Chucky, which is that documentary that's made by the producer's daughter, and it was pretty good. And that's coming out on Blu-ray in like another week or
Oh,
so.
Fiona Dorff did it, or
No, the she's interviewed in it, but it's the producer's daughter. I'm blanking on her name,
okay.
but she made the documentary. But she and um, Fiona Dorff are the same age, so they grew up together
That's funny.
on the films.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they talk a lot about their experiences as little kids and all that type of stuff. Like even before she was involved in the movies, Fiona was involved. She was on set.
Right, because Brad
So
was on set.
yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
yeah, and this is just a great collection. Once again, it's a great way to get all of them. So
Awesome.
um, and then this would be my second favorite series, third being Silent Night, Deadly Night, Scream.
I know you're a big Scream fan,
Yeah,
except for the newer stuff, but you're a big fan of the original, series.
yeah. I mean, I still will buy them and all that stuff. But this and part four is not included in this. It's 1 through 3, and then it's got the two documentaries.
Okay.
But still, once again, 1 through 3, two documentaries, not bad.
Hmm.
So and everything is on its own. I think everything's on its own disc. Maybe not the documentaries. Yeah, the documentaries are on one disc, but the movies are all on separate discs.
Once again, if I had like the Scream 4K, I would have included it. I only have the Blu-ray and it's not in a pack or anything, so to me, it's not something like I'm proud to own, like I'm glad I own it, but it's not up there, like that. Like if it were like that, I probably would have grabbed it and put it up, as well. So
I'll grab the new Scream when it comes out, Scream 6. I'll still pick it up probably the day it comes out, so
do
I'll
you
pay
have
full
Scream
price.
4
But yeah,
and 5?
yeah, I have
Okay,
all of them.
nice.
Yeah, it's just when this came out, that's when Scream 4 came out.
Right.
So Scream 4 was separate. But
Yeah,
now I think you can get 4 in its own pack.
right.
But and then this is another one. It's like Blade Runner. This, oh my god, this is great. And this is one you should get because it is 4K, but it also has Blu-ray. So which is why I got it, which is Apocalypse Now.
Yes, I have that. I actually just showed it off in a video that's coming out because I do videos called Showcase, where I showcase things I own that I feel like need to be shown, and stuff. And I did Miami Connection, then I did Apocalypse Now redo, which has, I mean, as you're gonna probably talk about, but as like 9 discs, I think, no, 6 discs, I think, in it, and Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that is huge.
Yeah.
So the first two are 4K. So it's the Apocalypse Now, the Final Cut, and Redux. So those are 4K. And then Final Cut in just Blu-ray, the original version Blu-ray, special features from two of the films, and then like archives and special features over here. So
It
I
also has
think
Hearts of Darkness.
yes, which was not in the DVD version where it was like the complete dossier, and it doesn't. So this has for people. Okay, so it's disc one, Apocalypse Now, the Final Cut 4K. Disc two, Apocalypse Now, original cut 1979, and Apocalypse Now Redux 4K. Disc three, Apocalypse Now, Final Cut Blu-ray. Disc four, Apocalypse Now 1979, and Redux Blu-ray. And then disc five is Special Features Blu-ray. Part six, Hearts of Darkness, and that's also Blu-ray.
It's so
So
funny you say Redux, which is what I used to always call it. And then Paul goes, "What are you talking about? It's redo." And I'm like, Is it?" And then like my brother and I have always called it Redux, and you call it Redux, and I don't feel too bad, you know. So thank you, John.
RE, DUX, Dux,
It's
Redux.
but that's like French or something, and it's like redo, you know. It's
Okay,
like
redo.
like
Sure.
do, but it's like redo, I guess. I don't know.
All
Anyway,
right.
I don't
Okay.
care. I call it Redux sometimes too.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
whatever I feel like doing
This
at
is
the time.
also 40th anniversary.
Yep.
But this is like like Blade Runner and stuff. I mean, this is everything in one box. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need anything else. The only thing that this is missing, unlike Blade Runner, is the work print, which I do have. I have that as a download,
Okay.
and it's the longest version of this.
Right.
It is long as hell. It has a ton of stuff that's still not in these. But this is definitely the way to get it. So then this is Alien.
Alien.
So Alien
Okay.
would be my favorite science fiction series. I don't really count Prometheus and Alien Covenant, even though I own them, but this is all the Alien films. So what's great about this, and this goes back to film preservation, is there's two versions of each movie in this, plus great documentaries on each one. So you get theatrical for all of them, you get director's cuts on all of them, and then part three is the producer's cut. And they're yeah, and it's the quadology, so it's all four, which are the
Nice.
only ones that really count. And it comes in this, it's thick. This box is really thick, and it has these kind of thick
It also looks like a
pages.
book. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're not pages. They're like
Oh,
really
so it is a digibook. Okay, cool.
yeah. And then you just in the for each film it comes like there's aliens, so the disc is there. But
Nice.
this is just it's freaking brilliant to me. It's just why would I unless it's 4K, let's say, why would I buy anything else? I
Right.
just keep this.
You
So
probably would like one day when you do get a 4K player and a 4K t television, you'll probably upgrade everything to 4K, you know.
yeah, as long
Um,
as it came out like this, that's fine. Then that's how I would get it. Is like I would not do them individually.
yeah,
So,
as
but
long as it's in a box set. Yeah.
yeah, and it's the ultimate alien experience. 6 disc Blu-ray set, all four films, over 50 hours of bonus material. So
I have the first Alien in 4K, and then I have Aliens 2 or Aliens in DVD. I do not have the rest of them. I need to eventually, get like every one of them, but I just haven't, it just hasn't been on my list of things to get yet, or whatever. I've been, but if I see them cheap at some point, maybe I'll do that, you know.
yeah, because I don't even watch the theatrical versions anymore. So
Right.
it's yeah, but it's nice to have them.
Yeah.
You know, so the next one. So these are my last three. This would probably be, as far as like science fiction series goes, would be my second favorite, Alien being first. And I love these when I saw them. I only saw them on TV when I was a kid. And I love the new series that they set up, the 3 films, and I'm glad they're doing another one, except that it's fucking Disney. So I don't know if, because it's Fox, I don't know if the new trilogy is going to be any good. The last trilogy was great, and the original series was great, and I love the TV shows and all that. That's Planet of the Apes.
Hmm.
And this
I knew you
has
were talking about Star Wars, so when you mentioned Disney and everything, and then mentioned, oh, I love the first trilogy, blah blah,
no,
But
Star Wars is not in my thing. So no.
I don't think
Um
so either. Not mine either.
yeah,
But
so this
good,
has
cool. I've got a collection like that. I think I got that one that
yeah,
has
it's
all
got
of them.
all of them. Yeah, Planet of the Apes, Beneath Planet of the Apes, Conquest, Escape, Battle,
The
and
original like ones, right? Not like the newer ones.
yeah, like the 60s and 70s ones.
Yeah.
I have all of them. I even have the Tim Burton one, which I think is very underrated. I think it's actually
I
pretty
think
good.
so too. I remember going to the theater and watching it, going, this is actually really good. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
the ending follows the book, because in the book it's all, well, and so is the cartoon, Return of the Planet of the Apes, because the book is, it's modern day. The apes drive cars, they drive planes, they live in buildings, they have all that. It was only for budgetary reasons that they lived in like mountains and stuff for the movies. But so
Uh,
having that ending with I forget his name, what's his face, coming back,
Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark, yeah, Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg, with him coming back and seeing the Lincoln, now the ape, I thought was great. I loved it.
Abraham Lincoln, which Kevin Smith did that before Planet of the Apes in his
An evening with
comic.
Kevin Smith. Yeah, he talks about that and how, yeah, how Burton ripped him off or something.
Well,
So
he made a joke about it, but Tim Burton didn't even know that Kevin Smith did that. I don't think. I don't think Tim even watches anything Kevin Smith like. Yes.
probably not. So, and this
So
has some pretty good special features on it. The only thing that it's missed, and I'm bummed out about that. So I found a double disc of it, is Behind the Planet of the Apes, which is Ronnie
behind.
McDowell talking about, which I think came out around the time that Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes came out.
Oh,
And it was a TV movie that's all about, it's like a 2-hour documentary on all the movies. And
and
then
that's
I,
not on that.
no, it's not,
Oh, damn.
which
That's
is
a
a
bummer.
drag. And then
Yeah.
I found one that was a 2 disc that had a whole bunch of bonus footage and all that stuff on disc too. So I have that on DVD, but I got these on Blu-ray. So
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to have those things on DVD if you just want the extras, that they didn't transfer over for whatever reason.
yeah,
Maybe
and it says on here, like Beneath the Planet of the like Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, unrated and theatrical versions. Battle for the Planet of the Apes, extended and theatrical. Because Conquest is the one that has the they took it out, the ending. They redubbed it.
oh,
Is in the original ending, Caesar says to kill all the humans. And that tested really bad. So
why?
it's on YouTube, but it's like a camera copy. And it may be on here, I'm not sure, I forget. But they redubbed it and they kind of re-edited it. So Caesar gives a very inspirational speech
Uh,
and says humans and apes can live together.
Boo, Hollywood.
Yeah, which
Don't
goes
listen to the
into
test
Battle,
audiences. They don't know
you know,
shit.
because Battle, they live together. So, and then this is another great one. God, this is such a great disc, and this is Scream Factory. It's the Fly collection,
Nice.
and this has every Fly movie in it.
Nice.
So it's got the original Fly, Return of the Fly, Curse of the Fly, which is my favorite, Cronenberg's The Fly, and then Fly 2.
Nice.
And it's got a ton, you can't see it on here because they're on the disc, but it's got a ton of special features on like each one. So
I watched the Cronenberg one so not recently, like in the last 6 years or something. But I love the fact that he was trying to create like a teleporter, teleportation device. That was the plan. And he made turned into a fly. Jeff Goldblum. I just love that. I thought it was great.
well, that's Curse of the Fly. Is Curse of the Fly has no fly in it. but it's more like mutants, and he's doing the teleporter. So like the one
So they
teleporter's in
took it
like
from so the Cronenberg ones took it from Curse of the Fly, more
possibly, yeah, because it's he has one teleporter in like England and another teleporter in like America or something, and it's not working.
very
So whenever
cool.
they use it, it gets messed up. And I guess Vincent Price was going to be in it, but something with the passport, or because he like the company that he was working for at the time that he had to deal with, like the studio, wouldn't allow him to work on like a Fox movie. So he wasn't in this, but he was going
Wow.
to be in Curse.
Well,
So,
damn
but
it.
yeah, but this is another great one. What's all the movies right here. So, and then my last one is one that you already know about, but I gotta, it's that Paranormal Activity box set.
Yes. Yes, you're so excited about that.
I
That
mean,
looks beautiful. That's crazy. It's got
yeah.
like a hand or something. Was that on
There's like a person
the person,
that's
but then like
oh
on the
that's a
disc?
camera.
No, but on the disc. Is that like a
Oh
hand?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, there it is. Now you can
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
crazy.
It's like yeah, like that.
Yeah, it's a little palm. That's awesome.
And this is it comes with like a sticker. And then for people who don't know this, it has every single one except for the brand new one that hasn't come out yet. Um, and there's two versions of each film, theatrical and then like director's cut or producer's cut, however they want to say it.
Hmm.
And each one is about 10 minutes longer. And it goes all the way from the first film up to Next of Kin, which I still haven't seen that one yet. And then it goes it has a 90-minute documentary on all the movies.
That's
And at the
awesome.
end of that, there is a little bit of the making of Next of Kin, because they
Oh,
were doing
cool.
the documentary when they were filming Next of Kin. So
Nice.
I so they did go to the set for like one day. So there's like a 5 minute, maybe 10-minute interviews with the cast of Next of Kin. So technically they're all on this desk.
Nice.
So yeah, I love this thing. I love it. I love it so much. I would marry it. So, and there we go. That's my 10. So there was kind of a pattern to how I was doing these.
I think
So in a
so.
way, yeah.
I think you didn't think like it was, but I think there was a little bit of a pattern. I think that those were like your number 20 to number one, you know.
Yeah.
So next one the first one up here, I'm gonna pull up. You've got to pull up your copy of it so we can get that shot of both of us having a
Oh,
copy,
okay.
but it's not the same one. You don't know what it is yet. It's
Uh-oh.
Jaws, bitch. Jaws.
Oh, okay. All
4K.
right. All right.
So I hold up my Jaws.
So hold on. Set these back
Yes.
down.
You have your own Jaws. We both have our own Jaws.
So let me. I think that side's better.
There you go. Jaws. This is the 4K Steelbook
Oh, nice.
Jaws. So yeah.
I
So
like that. Show the front again.
there's the front.
So it's kind of the book, because the
Yeah, it's got
book
a little
just
bit of
had
the
the
book.
gray cover and the girl swimming,
And
and then
then
the shark wasn't that shark, but it was just like a gray
the
shark.
back has the girl swimming. So if you open it up
Yeah, it's
like
the
that, it's
poster.
kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
And then you got the two discs on it, one 4K, one I think, or wait, yeah, one 4K, one Blu-ray. So it's got a combo, and then
that's
it's
nice.
got yeah, it's a lot of it's really good. I love it. It's once like you said, it's one of my favorite movies too. I absolutely adore the flick. If you can see, yep, my poster's right back there,
Yeah,
right
you
next
also
to
got a screen
Scream.
back there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite movies of all time. Which Ed Wood, it goes like Ed Wood. I'm not saying any of the other ones because some of those are going to pop up in here. Ed Wood didn't, but just because I show Ed Wood off all the time and talk about it all the time. But I'm glad you showed it off, so I didn't have to, you know. So there you go.
Yeah, but I also think it's Tim Burton's best movie too.
It is. It is. I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan. Like I like a couple of his things, but really I'm not as into his stuff as
He has a problem, which is that he cannot. Ed Wood has the same problem actually too. He doesn't know how to write a third act.
mm,
It's if you watch his movies, especially something like Dark Shadows, it's first act, second act, third act.
But he gets writers, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, so
mostly John August, I think is his
John
name.
August does a lot of his stuff now.
Yeah.
Scott and Larry did Ed Wood, and he's had different people. John August mainly now. Um, but anyway, next is Slacker.
Oh, good movie.
This is
Yeah.
the Criterion film, Slacker. And so the reason I picked this is because it is, if you look at all the stuff on it, it also comes with a whole new movie. There is it comes with, so let me open it up. Um, it's just one movie, one disc, right? One disc, and you get all these special features, including a movie called "It's Impossible to Know How to." It's impossible to learn how to plow by reading books. And it's literally his first movie before he made Slacker, but
Okay.
it's just was an experiment in figuring out where the camera goes, like how to shoot things. It's literally about a guy played by Richard Linklater just doing every mundane, boring shit in the world. He at one point goes and does laundry or something, and things like we watch him do laundry. No, he's not talking, he's not doing anything interesting. He's literally just doing laundry. What makes that the greatest thing is he has Richard Linklater has commentary track, right? And on the commentary track, he talks about the making of it and the different things, and some of the stuff he says in it is just filmmaking 101, you know. Hold on one second, okay? Um, one second, let me pause it. Hey, sorry about that. There's some crazy stuff happening at the moment, and now,
Crazy.
yeah, but we're back. All right, so I left off at Jaws, I guess, was the last one,
Yes.
right? No, Slacker was the last one.
Oh, Slacker was the last one. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, some cool stuff. Talked a good amount about Slacker, so we can move on. Next is Drive. This is a 4K. Actually from what company is it? NVD put this out themselves. So there you
Oh,
go.
that's not the drive I'm thinking of. Okay.
No, not the. There's a couple of drives, but this is Mark Dacascos, Kadeem Hardison, Brittany Murphy, and it's directed by Steve Wang, but written by Scott Phillips. Um, so yeah, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
I have not.
It'll be on Indie Film Cafe for a review soon. So next couple months. But it's a really fun movie. I enjoyed it a lot. You know.
Okay.
Uh, Next movie, I love, 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 love this movie. So remember in the beginning, you did Top Gun Maverick as your like, and I was like, oh man, I thought that would be closer to the beginning of your list or whatever. But you did things sort of differently, and that worked out. But this, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Oh, I just absolutely adore this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the way I feel like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness should have actually been, you know, and stuff. So here you go.
I need to finish it. I started it and I got like halfway through, then I stopped and just have not gone back to it. So I don't know what's everybody loves it, but I just never went back to it. So I'll have
But
to go back to
you
it.
liked it, didn't you?
What I saw I liked. I found it a little confusing, but overall I liked it. Yeah.
Well, here's my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, directed movie. And I'll get to my favorite one he's written later. But my favorite movie he's directed is Once
Yes.
Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I was surprised. Like I almost feel like this should have been his last movie, like he was doing the 10, this should have been his 10th movie. Because it's just such a great movie. Like I don't know if any other movie will top. He's got one more he's doing. Apparently it's it's still about the film business or whatever again. But
In this case, I accept your hypothesis.
yeah, there you go. So I love this movie. There's Blu Ray exclusives because it's the 4K. It's got Blu Ray exclusives, but nothing nothing too fantastic yet. He used to do commentary on a lot of his stuff, and now he doesn't do any commentary, and it's I don't know if he just doesn't feel like, because he does a lot of interviews and stuff, he doesn't feel like talking about them or whatever. But he also did a book, and I have the book, the novel, Once Upon a Time in
Oh
Hollywood.
yeah. Well,
Great novel.
maybe he'll do something. Is he still talks about there's like three versions of that film, and I'm
Right.
waiting to buy it. I want the longest version possible. So that's the one that I'm waiting for.
So another movie, another Hitchcock film, probably my favorite Hitchcock film of all time. Might be yours. I don't know. I don't know what your favorite is, but Psycho on 4K. Um, it is the movie that got me into Hitchcock originally anyway, and I absolutely adore this movie. It's on 4K and Blu-ray on this, but this is this steel book of,
Oh, nice.
that. I mean, that's a pretty awesome photo
Yeah,
right there.
it would probably be my favorite. Maybe right up there with like North by Northwest.
Yeah. A lot of people say Rear Window, which I think is okay, but I think it's over loved, you know. I don't love that movie as much. Not huge into Jimmy Stewart, I like Cary Grant a lot better as an actor in the Hitchcock movies and stuff. And Anthony Perkins does a fantastic job in Psycho. So,
Yes.
okay. All right, we're down to my last three. So there you go. This one is a movie I just got recently, and I absolutely adore it. I watched it. I had never seen it before, but I'd always heard it was good, and I was blown away by it. And it's not something that typically you would think, oh man, that's a Jonathan Moody movie, kind of thing. But it is King of New York with Christopher Walken.
Ah, okay.
This is I think Arrow released it, but it's not a American version. It's the UK, because you can see the little right here, little
Yeah. Yeah, the little
uh
rating system. Yeah.
little rating system. This is an all region one though. I think all 4Ks are just no region, and stuff are region free. So any 4K. But then movies like I have like Happiness, the Cat of Curries, which I got online, and that is region B, but it still plays. But my region B for Masters of Cinema is locked. So that was the problem. But this played perfectly, and it was just beautiful, and it's got so many great extras and different stuff. So including a commentary by the director. So love
Abel
to,
Ferrara.
yeah, Abel Ferrara, would love to listen to that. All right, so I said before I didn't have a Kevin Smith one on my thing, but I lied and I was wrong. And I will promptly admit when I'm wrong. And I was wrong, but I did have Mallrats, the Arrow release.
Ah,
And
okay.
this comes with that thing right there. And to talk about what you talk about with your what is it? Um with you
Preservation.
Yeah, with like having all the different cuts and everything.
Hmm.
This comes with the first disc is the theatrical cut, and disc two is the extended and TV cuts. Now, me as a fan, I really prefer the theatrical cut. That even Kevin Smith says that is his director's cut. Like he doesn't believe in director's cuts. He believes whatever he puts out is his cut. You know, and everything. And I truly believe that the extended and TV cuts were pretty much just the extended cut was had extra scenes that really did not need to be there and stuff that was from the original cut of the film, where it was like I think over 2 hours or something ridiculous. And it took way too long to start getting everything going. And then he cut everything down and made it like an hour and a half, and it was perfect. The TV cuts are silly. It's kind of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High has on Criterion has the TV cuts where they change the like wordings and different stuff so that you could be watching for,
Yeah,
and
there's a ton of stuff on the Fast Times TV version that they,
yeah, and
yeah.
that they have a ton in Mallrats too, where some of the stuff they say didn't make any sense. So but they, but they left it in there or whatever because they couldn't. They had to change the words, to make it more okay to watch on television. So. Mallrats, one of my favorite movies of all time
Good.
too. I love that. It was tough when I put up these posters. I put up, if you can see, Chasing Amy's up there, and Chasing Amy is it was either between Chasing Amy or Mallrats, and I chose Chasing Amy because I don't know, it was just something about that one. And last but not least, definitely not least because it's my number one. Actually, oh, I got two. Shit, I thought this was number one. There's two more left. Ha, I was wrong. You know, once again, I'll promptly admit it. Number two, uh, is True Romance on
Okay.
4K as well.
Nice.
Yes, so this was really cool. This is the 4K, and it's got no Blu-ray. I would have had to buy, like, I would have had to spend like $10 extra or something and get the Blu-ray included in it, but I just bought this one, you know. So I think I have the Blu-ray, so I don't really, but I don't have the Blu-ray that's on whatever. But um, this has just the disc, there's the blue 4K and everything, and has all the extras too. So I don't know why I would need the Blu-ray anyway, other than just to have another extra Blu-ray. Um, but it also has a booklet, you know, which has a
Cool.
bunch of cool stuff in it, and comes with these little romance cards and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. They went all out on that. It's a great movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's my
Oh
favorite.
yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah, it's my favorite Tarantino written movie. I said before, like that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's my favorite directed movie of his, but and for a while it was Pulp Fiction. It's my favorite directed, but that after watching the other one blew me out of the water. This is my final one, and so last but definitely not least again, is my final one, and it is the movie I just literally just bought recently. But I fucking Vinegar Syndrome knocked it out of the park, and it is Sidekicks. This is a movie I watched
Sidekicks.
when I was a kid, and I fucking loved it. It apparently inspired Last Action Hero, which I love too. So I love having both of these on 4K. Two of my favorite action movie kind of things. But yeah, it's got a commentary with the director, and I know it was it's his brand new commentary with the director Aaron Norris, but it was hosted by the guy I guess that runs Vinegar Syndrome, 'cause they both chat. I listened to some of it and it was neat. It was a really cool like little experience. And then I saw an interview with Aaron Norris and he talked about how this was a movie that he sort of had an idea for, but didn't have the full script or anything. And so he was talking to a investor about a project and he said she asked him how much would it cost to make, and he said $7 to $8 million, right? And the investor said, how much would it need to start, to start getting it off the ground? He goes, I would need 250 for like writing and getting a lot of that stuff going. And she pulled out her checkbook and wrote him $250,000 check, and he cashed it. And he said it's never happened before, and it's never happened after that was that easy to get. Usually people do not just pull out their checkbooks and write, a check for something like that. It's usually when they say they're going to do that, they never do. So, anywho,
Right.
I absolutely love this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's a really fun kids movie, you know.
I when Canon was in full swing back in the day, this before Aaron Norris was a director and he was the stuntman, the stuntman for Chuck Norris.
Mhm.
It was always obvious when it was him, so we would always point it out in the theater. We got Aaron Norris because you would
Yeah.
see he's like the thinner face, and we'd always pick him out. And I got to meet him once I went to a one of those like year before it came out screenings of Hellbound,
Nice.
and he was there and he talked to me briefly if I liked the movie or not. And it was weird. Like there was only three of us in the theater. It was some rinky dink little theater that was down some road. And it was like, does anybody know about this? Because there's only like three of us in here. And
Wow,
he
you got to
talked to
meet him.
each,
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
He seems like from his interview, he seems like a really cool dude. He talked about how Jonathan Brandis was really loved the movie and was very happy to be involved in it. And Chuck doesn't, it's his brother, you know what I mean? Like he just asked his brother to be in it, and his brother was happy, to be involved and stuff. I mean, they worked together a lot, and has done other movies that he didn't direct Chuck in. So, I absolutely love this stuff. So, like Sidekicks, when I heard it was coming out on 4K, I knew I was going to eventually have to buy it, and I did, and so happy I did. It is a movie that I um I know I have the cover somewhere, but it has a slip cover. It sort of reminds me of this movie, No Retreat, No Surrender, which I have on Kino. And it's sort of like those two movies are sort of like that and Karate Kid are all like those two. It's like a mixture of both of those movies, you know. So it's really cool, you know. I love this movie, and so if you haven't seen it, people go watch this, buy it. Buy the 4K because it's amazing. And it has the Blu-ray in it, so it's not just the 4K. So it's got both.
I wish
Um,
that they would do that for all of them. Like I would have bought Top Gun Maverick if it was 4K, if it also came with the Blu-ray, but it didn't.
who did it in the
So
4K? Didn't come with the Blu-ray? That's
nothing. I for that film, I would have gone all out. I mean, if they did like the Steelbook and the 4K and the Blu-ray in there, I would have bought that,
yeah.
for forty
I
dollars or
mean,
whatever they sell
Jaws
those
did
things
that.
for.
That's weird that Top Gun Maverick. I guess, nowadays they're just trying to get whatever money they can get. So if they can get the people who get 4Ks and then, also have to get the Blu-ray too, or whatever, because, some collectors like myself want to have the Blu-ray just in case I can't watch it on 4K, you know. So if I have to buy it
Sure.
twice, sometimes I might, but
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
what I liked about the Apocalypse Now stuff is that it had both. And
I have
that's
more
why
than that.
I
I have
asked you.
a lot.
Oh, that a lot. And
But
then, I asked you about the new Rocky box set that has the Rocky versus Drago, but those are all 4K, but it's only 4K. So I
bummer.
have everything that's Rocky on Blu-ray, but I can't get Rocky versus Drago because
I
it's
mean,
only 4K.
you showed off a 4K that had a Blu-ray in it and stuff, and that to you bought the 4K because it had the Blu-ray in it because you don't
Yeah,
have a 4K player. So but you will if it has both, and because one day you will have the
sure.
4K, and then you'll already have 4K movies. I think that's
Yeah,
smart. It's just like I know one day I'll have a player that can play Region B, you know, movies, but and that's the only thing I'll use it for is for my Region B movies, right? But sadly, right now I have a 4K player that doesn't play Region B locked movies, So if it's locked, I can't get it, apparently. Bummer.
yeah,
I think that's about it. I think that wraps it up.
yeah.
That was awesome. Really great stuff. We got a lot going on. This sidekicks will be on the next haul that we do next month or whatever, late next month. And so we will, yeah, that's the next thing that we'll do for Blu-ray Hunters, a haul for you and I. And then, uh, but we'll be doing horror film lovers stuff constantly. So it
Yeah.
seems.
Yeah, the only last thing that I would say on this is there's three of my favorite movies. Unfortunately, I don't have. So, Head by the Monkeys would be one on Blu-ray, but it only comes in that box set.
Yeah,
That's
have you
the
bought that box set yet?
no, because it's
You
expensive.
should. I mean,
I,
it's got like the Last Picture Show and a couple
yeah,
other ones.
well, that I think it's all Bob Rafelson films. So it's
Yeah.
like Easy Rider, but
Well,
he didn't do Last Picture Show. That was Bogdanovich.
yeah,
Um,
it was called ABC. Well, I
yeah, so
got
it's
that
like
box.
Easy Rider. It's got Head. It's got yeah, it's got like four Nicholson movies in it. He can't hear me because he doesn't have his headset on.
You're so lucky you don't see my floor right now. It's a mess.
I thought you had your headset on, so I was talking to you this whole time, and then I noticed you didn't have it on.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's got this box set right here. I showed it off at a showcase before, but
Yeah, that's oh
Miracle.
yeah, it does have Last Picture Show. So it's Bob Rafelson and some other people, but yeah, there's you'd see there's Head is the first one on there,
Yeah,
but that's the only way, unless somebody breaks apart the box and puts the separate pieces on eBay or something, which maybe they have. It's the only way I know of getting it. There's a few. There's I ordered Flash Gordon 1980,
look at
and
that.
that did
Look at
not.
that special features.
Yeah, that's nice,
It's
and
got like
that's
audio commentary by the fucking monkeys.
yeah. I've heard it. I don't think they're in the same room together. I think they're done separately. But yeah,
Okay,
it's all four monkeys. So,
nice.
but yeah, so Head would be one. I just ordered through Arrow the Blu-ray for Flash Gordon 1980, but that didn't show up for this round. Sideways is another one that I want to get on Blu-ray. That's also one of my favorite films.
Am I
And
missing?
then Sweetback's Badass Song. The Blu-ray is in the Marvin Van Peebles box set that has like three or four of his movies. So those are the ones that I want to mostly get. Are those four?
I'm missing a couple. Like I know I'm missing five e. Okay, okay. No, I'm just missing two. I'm missing five easy pieces. I know where they are. I'm not missing them. They're just not
They're just
in
not
this
in the
box set.
box.
But I'm missing five easy pieces and the Last Picture Show because I'm doing videos on them later. But yeah, it's got
I
Easy
I would be
Rider, Drive, He Said, and A Safe Place, both on the same disc, and the King of Marvin Gardens as well as the ones. So
yeah, I would be interested in seeing like something like you and Paul and I, if you guys watched Head. So since you don't know what Head is and what Head is about and what it means to, for me being the uber monkey fan that I am, I can dissect the film but you guys
we should
probably
do that for
couldn't.
Criterion Watch at some point. I'll let Paul borrow the disc after I watch it, and stuff, and then we can review it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'd be very curious to see what two like
We're doing The
non
Graduate
monkey
soon, so that's
fans are.
first up. And then I know that's your favorite movie of all time anyway, so
Yes,
and then Head is up there, so you know. All right. So are you about wrapped? All
that's
right.
it. Yeah,
That's it,
yeah.
everybody. Thank you guys for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Know that there will be more people. I want to have different people from different collectors, doing their top 20 films and stuff. So there you go. Um, all right, everybody. Hope you have a good one and talk to you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.